From Joe. Hey, Andrew, it seems to me that national political debate must be rooted in a similar view of morality. You can't have a debate unless you have a similar view of morality. The problem is that our friends on the left think that we conservative Christians need to separate our religion from our politics. Somehow they don't realize that the two are inexorably linked. How do you think we can overcome this divide? Well, I think this is a difficult problem, but I think we have to go back to our old friend, Uncle Jesus, because he always had a lot of stuff to say. And remember when he was asked whether it was right to pay taxes to Caesar, he said, show me a coin, held it up, and said, whose face is on this coin? It's Caesar's face. Give Caesar what's Caesar, and give to God what is God, meaning your soul, the things of the soul. We have to be able to make arguments that are not simply scriptural arguments. Jesus specifically recognized a division between church and state, between our allegiance to God and our allegiance to the state. We have the right to say that you have hit a point where the state can have no control. So, for instance, I, who am very, libertarian about people's sexual lives, think it's appalling when they go to someone and say, you must be forced to cater a gay wedding, even though it's against your religious belief, because that's violating the things of God. That is the state intruding on the things of God, which is exactly what the left wants. But I do think we have to be able to argue with people about laws in secular terms. I think we have to be able to argue with people about government in secular terms. What I think you're talking about, though, which is also important, is when you don't share common premises, it's very hard to have an argument at all. The other day I was talking about the discussion I had with Edward Fazer, the philosopher, and one of the moments that I really liked in the conversation was I disagreed with him about the application of natural law to human sexuality. And I put forward my ideas, and he put forward his ideas, and I just basically then backed off and let the audience decide which of us made a better case. It was me, but of course, I didn't want to say that at the time. But the point is, we share a premise. Fazer and I share a premise that people have a purpose, that there is a natural law, that you can logically move toward that natural law, and so we could have that argument. When you're dealing with leftists, I really believe that the good thing to do is to start with premises. And I do this when I go and speak, which I don't do all that often. I probably should do it more, but when I go and speak, I always begin by saying, this is what I believe. And I talk for a minute to 2 minutes on what freedom means to me and why I think it restricts certain things, why I think that believing in freedom means, for instance, we can't be equal. We can't be equal because the only way for me to stop somebody from being better than me is to make him worse, is to force him to be worse, and that's taking away his freedom. So when you're talking to leftists, I think it's a really, really good idea to, not talk about personalities, not talk about Trump did this and Obama did this, and to stop them every time they do it because they will continually revert to it, but to talk about your premises. Because you might not agree on those premises, and then that's what you have to be debating. How can you debate about guns, for instance? This is what I love so much about Cook's piece, is that he got back to the basics. He got back to the premises of the debate without letting guys like Kimmel and Chuck Todd sway the debate to the emotional needs of the moment, but to keep the eternal ideas, the premises in line. So talk about premises first. Talk about premises. Don't talk about people. That is the way to hold debates with the left.